Monday, July the 22nd. Could I please have the roll call?
Councilmember Abdelgawad.
Here.
Councilmember Barber.
Present.
Councilmember Berenson.
Present.
Councilmember Burke.
Present.
Councilmember Circo.
Present.
Councilmember Holman.
Present.
Councilmember Jacobson.
Present.
Councilmember Townsend.
Present.
Mayor Turnbow.
Present. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Looks like we've got a small agenda tonight, and we'll move down to number 6, staff reports. Mr. Pureborn.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask Mr. Rokos to make a report for Mr. Krass for the Public Works Department.
Thank you, Mr. Fearborn. Mr. Mayor, member of the council, my report for tonight consists of 3 items. The first item is the Jefferson Culvert project. We actually completed that project this afternoon and opened the road to traffic. And so if you go by there, you'll see a new asphalt top and 2 new culvert pipes encased in concrete beneath you. The second item is our curb program. Tomorrow we'll be finishing up Metal Arc, and we are transitioning over to Sunset. We'll be doing Maple to Pine. The third item is our street preservation program. In about 2 weeks, we'll be meeting with the contractor with our pre-construction conference. At that time, we'll set the schedule and the list of roads and how we're going to approach the project. And as we start the project, we will then use social media to go ahead and advise people what the schedule is and where we'll be paving at different times. That concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Mr. Fearborn.
Thank you, Mr. Rokos. I would ask Mr. Mustine to make a report for Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, members of the council. A couple of quick notes in addition to my written staff report. Pleased to announce that our Memorial Park Playground that we approved and are beginning work on that. We applied for a grant with the playground scrap tire material from the Department of Natural Resources, and we were notified last Tuesday that we received $28,000 in additional material to enhance our project. So essentially, the surfacing of the playground was a portion of poured-in-place rubber, and then our park staff would apply the rest of the playground in just wood fiber mulch. This grant takes away that mulch and makes the entire surface a poured-in-place surface grant. So it is not a monetary reimbursement, but it is an enhancement to our program, so our project. So we're very pleased to announce that, and I will also notify the park board tomorrow night about that. Also, we have, in just a couple weeks, is the mini mud run at Hawk Ridge Park. So staff are working diligently on that, building the obstacles and mapping out the path and everything. So the online registration for the early bird ends this Thursday at $15, and then the day of you can walk up for $30 to pay, and it's all you can run once you're there. There's 3 heats that you can sign up for, and it's a great time. And finally, just a quick update on Hawk Ridge Park. We've got all the asphalt down, the parking lots are paved, the trail is paved, most of the fine grading is complete. The rain this past week did do a little bit, so we're regrading some of that. Essentially what we have left is some fine-tuning punch list items, planting some trees, and then once we take that over, our staff will go in and seed grass, additional grass, and just really kind of pound that with that for a fall growing season. But Hawk Ridge Park has come along, and we should have that handed over to us within 2 weeks. So we're very excited about that. Publicly, I want to thank Greg and his staff, especially Pascal. They've done a fantastic job helping us. So we really appreciate their help, and we're excited about the park. And that concludes staff report.
We're all excited about the park. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Mustine? Thank you, Nate.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you,
Fearborn.
Mr. Mustine. Just a reminder to the council that next Monday night is the 5th Monday of the month. We do not have a reason to make you do extra homework, so we won't be calling you in that evening. On August 5th, there are tentatively 2 items scheduled. We will be returning to visit code sections 1 and 2 that we have handed out to you all, kind of give you a brief overall view of those and what some of the high-level changes were, and then ask for any feedback or input from you all on those 2 sections of code. We will also be making initial recommendations to come to you at the following meeting for water and sewer rates. A reminder that the meeting for the sewer rate portion the formal meeting, the business meeting, that has to be a public hearing, but we always combine the water and the sewer rates as one single public hearing on that particular evening. Want to reintroduce to the council Mr. Zach Enderline from Kapke and Willerth. Mr. Zur is currently vacationing at the lake and enjoying himself. So Zach fills in when he's not here for us. He does a great job. Last but not least, Mr. Eakes. Last week, the employees had a quarterly get-together, and as some of the council know, at these get-togethers, we celebrate employee service recognition. This quarter, we celebrated employee service dates from April, May, and June. For the council members who were at the winter party, you'll remember that I preempted the announcement of one of our employees' service times because I felt it was very well deserved to be known then. Now it has taken place officially. All the employees know, so I felt I would also brag on this individual in public, if you will. In April of 1979, Jimmy Carter was President of the United States. The #1 hit song on the charts was Blondie's Heart of Glass. The governor of Missouri was Walking Joe Teasdale. Raymore's population was approximately 3,100 people, and the mayor at the time was Tom Eisman. We have had 12 mayors since then, including His Honor Mayor Turnbow. I tell you all of this to give a little context to the magnitude of the next statement. 40 years ago, on Monday, April 23rd of 1979, Mr. Andy Elliston started working for the city of Raymore. And he has been an incredible and loyal employee for the 14,700 days since then, including today. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank him publicly for his service, and we wanted to present him with a token of our thanks in the form of our Raymore 3-coin set marking our past, our present, and our future. He has contributed greatly to all three. Thank you, Mr. Elliston. And I promised him no one would make him speak and he'd be out of here by 7:15 because he hates this.
I'm surprised you didn't make a beeline for the door.
That concludes staff reports this evening, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. There are 5 items, I believe, on the consent agenda this evening. I would entertain a motion to dispose of the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Holman.
I move that we approve the city council, or the consent agenda as presented to include item A, city council minutes for the meeting of July 8th, 2019. Item B, the 2018 inflow and infiltration reduction acceptance and final payment. Item C, appointment of Bob Berry to Ward 1 seat on the Arts Commission, and Mr. Berry is in attendance tonight. Item D, appointment of Jason Boehner to the Ward 3 seat on the Arts Commission. And item E, appointment of Pamela K. Simpson to the at-large seat on the Arts Commission.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the consent agenda and all 5 items. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Abstentions? 1 abstention. We have 7 yes and 1 abstention. Motion passes. Now move on to unfinished business. Can I please have the second reading of Bill 3468 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3468 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending the Unified Development Code.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to dispose of the second reading of Bill 3468.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Berenson.
I move that we approve Bill 3468, Item A, the 31st Amendment to the Unified Development Code, medical marijuana facilities.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the second reading of Bill 3468. Any further discussion? Mr. Holman.
Just to reiterate I think my opinion and statements from last time, I don't like this, but I want to keep the city out of Dutch with the state, and I don't want the state to impose their determination of what the separation distances should be. So I will vote for it even though I don't like it.
Understand. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Thank you. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3469 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3469 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending the Raymore City Code of Ordinances regulating medical marijuana facilities.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to dispose of Bill 3469.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Berenson.
I move that we approve Bill 3469, which is item B, establishing Chapter 660, medical marijuana facilities.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3469. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3470 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3470 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, approving a conditional use permit for a fueling station to be located as part of the Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh store proposed for the southwest corner of 58 Highway and Fox Ridge Drive.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to dispose of Bill 3470.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Holman.
I move that we approve Bill 3470, the Hy-Vee conditional use permit for a fueling station.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3470. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3466 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3466 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Bright Construction for the inflow and infiltration reduction project, City Project Number 19-321-201, in the amount of $118,922, and authorizing the city manager to approve change orders within established budget constraints.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the second reading of Bill 3466.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Holman.
I move that we approve Bill 3466, award of contract for the 2019 inflow and infiltration project.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3466. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3474 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3474 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Black & McDonald for the Hawk Ridge Park Light Installation Project in the amount of $87,678.36, and authorizing the city manager to approve change orders within established budget constraints.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to dispose of the second reading of Bill 3474.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Holman.
I move that we approve Bill 3474, award of contract for the Hawk Ridge Park Lighting Project.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. The motion been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3474. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3471 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3471 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for $74,937 with Custom Ice, Inc. for the purchase and installation of an ice rink at the depot as part of the TB Hanna Station improvements.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to dispose of the second reading of Bill 3471.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Holman.
I move that we approve Bill 3471, award of contract to Custom Ice Incorporated for the TB Hanna Station improvements.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3471. Any further discussion? Mrs. Bell, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to share that while I had heard from people that they were interested in the fake ice we were talking about getting, they're really excited it's going to be real ice. Just thought I'd share that.
Thank you. Anyone else? No further discussion. All those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Thank you. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3473 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3473 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing an amendment to the fiscal year 2019 capital budget.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to dispose of the second reading of Bill 3473.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Holman?
I move that we approve Bill 3473, but a budget amendment for the Parks and Recreation Trails. Sorry for the slip-up.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3473. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Could I please have the second reading of Bill 3472 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3472 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, establishing an intergovernmental agreement with Cass County for the collection of annual taxes for and on behalf of the city.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to dispose of Bill 3472.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Holman?
I move that we approve Bill 3472, agreement with the Cass County for tax collection services.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. Motion been made and seconded to approve the second reading of Bill 3472. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Now move on to new business. Could I have the first reading of Bill 3475 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3475 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Bright Construction, LLC for the Dean Avenue Meter Vault Project, City Project Number 19-899-501, in the amount of $65,838, and authorizing the city manager to approve change orders within established budget constraints.
Thank you. Is there a staff report?
I think I would ask Mr. Rokos to make a staff report on this agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Fearborn. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as part of the settlement agreement with Cass County Public Water Supply District 10, the city is required to install a water meter on Dean Avenue. As part of the agreement, the city and the water district has met out in the field and mutually decided on a specific location for this meter vault. As part of the agreement, we will install this meter vault. We put this work out to contract. Bright Construction was determined to be the lowest and best bidder, and staff recommends to award the Dean Avenue Meter Vault project to Bright Construction. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Mr. Holman?
So I know we have to have the meter, and obviously this one's for kind of a special entity, if you will. Can you describe the vault? That one threw me off a little bit. Some type of a concrete structure or something this thing's going to go in?
The vault is a concrete structure that's approximately 13 and a half feet wide, 13 and a half by 8 feet wide, and 6 and a half feet tall. The top of it will sit just below the surface of the ground. All you'll see coming out of the top will be a vent. Inside the vault will be a large meter, because it's a meter for a 12-inch line, and then we'll have valves, so we can actually valve the meter off and bypass it inside the vault, so in case we need to pull the meter out and put a new one in. And it'll also have a second valve in line, so we can actually turn the water off if we needed to.
So the answer is yes. You can describe it very well. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Thank you. Is that all, Mr. Fearborn?
That includes staff report on this item, sir.
Thank you. Then I would entertain a motion to dispose of the first reading of Bill 3475.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Holman?
after the eloquent report by Mr. Rokos, I move that we approve Bill 3475, award of contract Dean Avenue Meter Vault Project.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. Motion been made and seconded to approve the first reading of Bill 3475. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. Could please have the first reading of Bill 3477 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3477 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing an amendment to the fiscal year 2019 capital budget to provide additional funding support for the Dean Avenue Meter Vault project.
I think we can guess what this is about, but is there a staff report?
Yes, sir. Mr. Rokos will be giving the staff report, but the short form is need this to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Rokos.
Thank you, Mr. Fearborn, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. As has been explained in the title, it's very simple. In order to do the project we just passed an ordinance on, we actually need the money in the fund to do it. This ordinance will allocate funds from the Water Connection Fee Fund 52 to the capital improvements budget to be able to build the project for the water meter. As it was stated earlier, that this is necessary for the settlement of the agreement of the Water District 10 lawsuit. I'd be happy to answer any questions they have.
Thank you. Any questions of staff on this? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the first reading of Bill 3477.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr.
I
Holman.
move that we approve Bill 3477, fiscal year 2019 budget amendment for the Dean Avenue meter vault.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. The motion's been made and seconded to approve the first reading of Bill 3477. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously, 8-0. That concludes new business. We'll now move on to public comments. If anyone from the public would like to address the council at this time, please step forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Anyone? Anyone? Okay, moving on. We'll go on to Mayor Council Communication. Sonia, I'll start with you tonight. I haven't started with you in a while.
All right, thank you. I don't have much to share tonight except that it would be a shame if I didn't recognize Mr. Elliston for his 40 years with the city. That's amazing.
It really is.
And I think it's great that we recognized him tonight. So thanks to staff for bringing that to our attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barber.
I'm going to be real quick. I want to thank our citizens volunteers, Bob, Jason, and Pamela, for serving us on the Arts Commission. Thank you again for doing it again, and we couldn't run the city without it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Holman.
I concur with the comments mentioned previously, especially 40 years with Mr. Elliston. Thank you, Mr. Fearborn. You took me back to being 16 years old and a teenager in high school. Thank you to Mr. Barry. Not only is he agreeing to volunteer again, but he's in the audience tonight. You drew a good straw. We're going to be done in less than 30, and that hadn't happened for a while. I also welcome back former council member Boehner from Ward 3. Was an excellent council member. He will be a great asset to the Arts Commission as well, and to Pamela Simpson as well. Thanks, as Mr. Barber said, to all of our volunteers. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Berenson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will concur with all the previous comments and add just one short thing as well. I want to thank the citizens of our town for being patient with our transition to the new trash contractor. As you can see, I noticed cans are being picked up today. Some of the gym's cans are being picked up, and so we expect those to be fully removed in the next few weeks.
You know what? If the council will indulge me, and it must have just been very, very Freudian on the city manager's part. I was going to have Mr. Icky for the communications report actually give a report on this. Can we back up just one, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind?
I do mind. We're moving on. Go ahead.
Like the council, we will be brief.
All right.
I'll keep us under the 30-minute mark here. Staff was very pleased with the results of last week's trash service. This was Constable's first week in the city picking up trash, and while they had spent the last couple of weeks driving the routes, getting familiar with the city and the roads and the neighborhoods, once you finally put someone behind the wheel of a garbage truck and have them attempting to pick up trash while trying to navigate the old cans as well as picking up the new cans, it can be quite a challenge. One challenge that we did encounter, and I think that Mr. Constable and his staff did an absolutely admirable job on, was our Thursday pickup. We knew the Thursday pickup area, which is essentially the entire city east of Madison, not only had spotty service at best for the last couple of weeks, but by the end of the day on Thursday, when they had done their first run of trash pickup, they had packed out 50 tons worth of trash. To put into context, the entire city of Raymore does about 300 tons of trash in a month. So the fact that the one Thursday area had that much trash that had been sitting out still from a previous contractor, and that they were able to get out by the weekend, really shows their commitment. They were here every single day through the weekend to get that out and didn't leave town until the job was done. So looking forward to week 2. I know Monday's going well. The job is only going to get easier once we get the cans out of their way so that they can truly focus on getting the trash up and out of Raymore. Thank you.
Thank you for the update, Mike.
And carts are being picked up. I apologize. We do anticipate that'll be about a 10-day process for those carts to be fully removed from across the city.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Icky. And you'll post your number if they need to call you direct.
Absolutely.
Your cell phone.
And should we notice any degradation in the cart pickup because we've come to expect anything. The other group, the contingency group that we spoke about with the council, is still in town and prepared to go.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I'll add one thing to that, if I may, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Ricci, for your report. You pointed out something I wanted to mention. Most of Ward 4, most of everybody east of J Highway did get picked up on Thursday, unless you happen to live within about a block of my house for some reason. That was just one little spot that they didn't quite get to. But again, to remind everybody, they emptied all the Jim's cans in addition to their own trash they were contracted to remove. So quite a workload for them, and we appreciate the extra effort on their part and look forward to a even better Thursday this coming week. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Serco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'll probably keep it short. Mr. Elston, congratulations. 40 years is a milestone for anyone to have a job, and 40 years in, that's a real great thing to hear. And thank you, Mr. Fearborn, for bringing that up, because people like that need to be recognized. It's a rare thing anymore. I like to, hone in on the council trash. They say they can do something, and they're doing it. They came in here with a plan, and they're doing it. They did pick up all the trash. They did above and beyond what we could ask from that first week. Like you said, tons and tons of trash is everywhere, and they're picking up every can. It didn't matter whose it was. And they were dumping those, taking them to the dump, and they're coming back, and they're working long hours to get it done. So I'm looking forward to this next week as they transition into the week 2. It should be a lot easier. But they have come through. They've done 120%, and they keep on working hard. So I think the city should be very happy. I really believe we got top-notch, and we do have a top-notch trash service company, and it's going to be here, I'm hoping, for a long time, and we can deal with that. And probably it's fine, put all that stuff off, all the negativity that we've had over the short haul. So, again, thank you for that.
Thank you. Mr. Burke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to congratulate or thank the 3 appointments, for 2 of them for coming back to serve the city a second time, and then also new appointment of Mrs. Simpson. I've talked with her a couple times at her house, and she's really going to be a great addition to the Arts Commission. Her daughter, I believe, is an opera singer and has extensive background in being involved with things, and also as an editor for literature and newspaper as well. So she has a lot of skills that she will bring, and that we will certainly enjoy having her bring. Also, I wanted to say that the teenagers in my house are happy to hear that there's going to be an ice rink. I told them November 22nd. Hopefully that'll still be the day. It's my mom's birthday, so maybe we'll make her happy and have her out for a party. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Jacobson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Really, all I can do is, add how I feel about everything that everybody said so far. It's completely agree that everyone's covered everything I would have had to say, so I guess I'll stop right there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I, too, want to commend those who are volunteering to serve on the various commissions and boards, as well as to Mr. Elliston for his 40 years of service. That's outstanding that he's been a part of the city that long and taking care of the residents in the area. But I also want to report out from this month's Transportation Committee that we had last week, I believe it was. 2 items of interest that we've been talking about a little bit. Just kind of a quick update regarding the household travel survey that we requested everyone to participate in. That survey is complete. They are now compiling the data. So I really appreciate those who were engaged and involved. I'm sure you were able to receive either the $5 or the $15 literal cash that it would give you if you participated in that survey. They're going to take that data and use it as the foundation to develop the travel demand forecast, which is one of the key requirements for the Federal Metropolitan Transportation Planning regulations, which is a lead-in to our Regional Transportation Plan 2050 that I was referring to at last council session in regards to specifically the I-49 corridor and widening that. So that information that you provided directly correlates to that comment, to that project. And as we fight to widen and take care of the transportation concerns of the area for the North Cass County region. They also gave a report back with regard to the data collection on that particular project. as well as the comments that were provided specifically to the I-49 corridor. They're also doing some financial capacity forecasts, which they're going to be reaching out to as the stakeholders. They made comments to some of the chambers of commerce in the North Kansas City proper, but I'll be reaching out to our area chambers of commerce to make sure that they're given the contact information to make sure that the representative from MARC is also engaging with those entities to make sure that their voices are being heard from the business community with regard to the customers that come out to this particular part of the country, as well as any transportation concerns they have with regard to shipping and receiving and the congestion that may be going on with respect to their particular business area. So I just wanted to kind of give a quick update on that. I appreciate everyone's activity and providing comment to that. It is necessary to have that commentary and conversation to make sure that our voice is heard in that arena as we continue to fight for getting additional funding to make sure that project moves forward sooner than later. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And I would also echo our thanks to Mr. Elliston and congratulations on 40 years of service. My 12 and a half years here as police chief and working with Mr. Elliston from time to time, he's a good hard worker, keeps his nose to the grindstone, and boy, if we could have a whole fleet of people like him, he'd have a great department, and especially that kind of loyalty is seldom seen these days. So thank you to him for that loyalty to the city. He's seen a lot change, that's for sure. And one person that goes unsung here, a full-time employee of the city, because my office is right next to hers, and that's Rachel Bratton. Through this whole transitional process, I've heard her talk to citizen after citizen after citizen about the process of the transitioning from one trash carrier to the other. And she really has, I know that the utility department takes a lot of the brunt on that as well, but Rachel has been given the task of reaching out to people who have left messages, calling them, resolving their issues, making sure that there's follow-up on that. And I can hear voices over the phone from my office on the other end of the line. And by the time she's done talking to them, they've calmed down, they're reasonable, they understand what's happening. And she is just a wonderful employee for this city that was she's a true treasure, because Rachel does a wonderful customer service for us, and we're lucky to have her. I just wanted to mention that because this whole process has been, Mike, everybody knows how painful it has been. And I would like to echo what Mr. Berenson said about thanking the people of our community and being patient and working with us on it. It has been hard for us. It's hard for you, and we understand that, but we're getting through it, and soon kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And hopefully that comes sooner than later. But anyway, that conclude my comments, and I don't think we have a reason to move into executive session.
No, sir.
So I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Holman.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn this session of the Raymore City Council.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Or raise your hands. We're adjourned.